So, let's get started with today's trading. I'm focusing on company stocks and assets with the best movement patterns and payout percentages, which you can see right here. I have already made a small analysis of the market and came to the conclusion that today we will use the following strategy. It is universal in my opinion, and thanks to it, you can open trades as well as on the trend. It includes Bollinger Bands with period 13 and deviation 2, fractal with period 5, and two oscillators RSI, the first with period 5 and the second. With a period of 10, we leave the overbought area unchanged 70, and also the oversold area also left unchanged 30. They have a value. After the care of trading, you will understand how to open correctly. Your position, what conditions must be in order to open a trade and what logic you must follow. The mandatory factor is, of course, analyzing on your own without indicators. It is necessary to. In order to be able to pick up trades as reliably as possible, we trade on the minute time frame, and the first position I will open exactly half of my starting balance. Let's get started and pick up the first asset in order to find the most optimal entry point. Here I will open a position on the upside in the direction of the actual trend dynamics. Let's select the working area. Here it is hard to say something about oscillators. Because of weak volatility, we need to analyze RSI with period 5. There was a touch of oversold area, and we see that after this touch we have plus, meaning line always tends to this area also. Here there was a touch of the lower band of the indicator, and so here I decided to analyze the oversold area to open and opposition on the upside. Moreover, we have a rather weak volatility here because most likely the trend has almost reached its maximum, but anyway, it is safest to open a position on the upside. And unfortunately, at the last seconds, you saw a small impulse on this candle and the position closed minus. So I open an additional trade, all the same logic of entry, so let's see the result. And as you can see, quite confidently, the position closes in plus. Excellent. Initially, this is the picture I wanted to see when opening the first trade, but that's okay. We will open further positions, probably for the maximum amount of balance to get to a good profit. But right, I most likely will not have the right to make a mistake. Let's see the nature of the movement and entry conditions. Maybe we will change something. Let's continue and pick up the next asset. Let's open a downside position here. I'm starting to see an exit from overbought areas on both oscillators, and earlier we had a rather impulsive upward dynamics. The global structural high was updated. There were a lot of touches on the upper Bollinger Band, but I will tell you again, you have to wait for the moment when you see your oscillators crossing, either out of the overbought area or out of the overbought area. Oversold, in our case, it's an overbought area, so we can open a down trade here. It's simple. Let's see the result. And the position closes in plus perfectly. Let's open further also on the maximum balance amount, no margin for error, in order to get to an even more satisfying profit. Let's continue and pick up the next entry point. The entry point didn't take long to arrive, and here too we are actually opening a position against the trend direction, the same entry point. Logic, as in the previous trade, we had a touch, several touches of the upper Bollinger Band, but we open a trade when we see an exit. In our case, it is again an exit from the overbought area. From the top to the bottom, both sliding bands have shown a crossover, so we can open a downside position here. It's also very simple. Let's look at the result. And the position closes again in plus perfectly. We also open a further position at the maximum amount. As you can see, we had two identical entry points in logic. They had the same, and positions closed in plus without problems. Let's continue and pick up the next asset. Here we also open a position on the downside, and here we can not wait for both oscillators to cross the overbought area. Yes, in our case, one is enough. An oscillator with period 5. Here, everything is very simple. The opening occurs in the direction of the general trend. We have a downtrend, and we have shown a pullback in the dynamics. Also, a few touches of the upper band, and at the key touch, we see the exit from the overbought area on one of the oscillators. So we open a position on the downside. Let's see the result. And the position also closes in plus, and as a completion, we open one more trade for the amount of $475. Let's continue and pick up the final asset. And let's open a position on the upside here. It turns out to be against the trend direction. I think the exit is up. Should happen. Of course, the volatility in the dynamics has decreased very much. And again, I picked up a not very good entry, but I hope that the upside exit will happen. Just a second ago, of course. Not a second, 15 seconds ago, the picture was a little bit different. Now, of course, there are very strong downward volumes, but I hope the exit will happen and my signal will be correct. And the position at the last seconds closes in plus perfectly. Very tense moment, very tense deal. Let's probably on this result. 100% we will finish today's trading process. We will fix the profit and go to the conclusion. The sum of today's profit will be $843. The withdrawal operation is successfully executed. This is the trade for today has turned out with the use of this bunch of indicators. As you can see everything in general simply, the most important thing is to analyze the market correctly and understand the movement on the charts. Then your indicators will give you perfect signals. Everyone have a good day and as many positive closed deals as possible.